The mayor is responsible for appointing and managing the heads of city departments, either directly or through participation on commissions governing their activities. How do you plan on evaluating their performance and ensuring accountability?
In the past 7 years, in the 7 years that I worked under the Moccia administration, I went to 3 department head meetings of little substance. Department heads and the mayor need to meet on a regular basis. The mayor can hold department heads accountable by requiring written reports, by sitting down and finding out what needs to be taken care of immediately, and some long-range plans for taking care of the problems that need to be taken care of over the years. I plan on meeting on a monthly basis with department heads, and one of the first things I'm going to do when elected is sitting down and stating to them what I expect of them. And I want those reports. I want to know what their progress towards the goals and objectives are, what their plans are for the coming month, what they plan on doing, where they are in regards to the budget that has been allocated to them. Are they overspending their money? Are they within budget? Going to hold them accountable by meeting with them once a month and get things organized. As I said, I have not been to a staff meeting more than 3 times in the last 7 years, and I think that's inappropriate because you need to be active. You need to actively engage with your department heads and give them let them know what's expected of them and make sure that they do it. And that's by holding them accountable, by getting reports from them, and by asking them of what their progress is towards goals and objectives. And then they know exactly what you expect of them, and then they can do their job, and they can do it well. But you'll be informed, as well as the other department heads will be informed as to what is going on in the other departments. And that right now is not happening.
Mr. Moccia.
I don't know how he says that's not happening. He hasn't been around for a year. For 7 years, he felt that he could have said something to me. There were a lot more than 3 meetings, probably the only ones he made. We had numerous meetings on planning for emergency planning. I get reports from every department. DPW sends me the report, Fair Rent, Human Relations sends a report, Planning and Zoning sends a report on permits application, Building Department sends a report, and on a yearly basis I do an evaluation, and every department head had to provide to me, and it's in the files, their statements of goals and objectives. It is wrong to say that I don't meet and I don't govern. That's not true. He had staff meetings every Wednesday. It's a little different with the police department. I have meetings on a weekly basis with many department heads, but maybe every 2 weeks. But in the meantime, I'm getting the reports. And we had many, many more staff meetings than that, which included the planning with our emergency planning teams that had all department heads and even some assistant department heads there as we planned. And we planned well. We did well in Irene, we did well in Sandy, considering, and we did well in the snowstorms. And we do have accountability. That is wrong to say there's no accountability. You work with many of these department heads. And if you felt there was no accountability while you were working with them, in 7 years you never said one word to me about that, other than you were a little upset occasionally when Mr. Hamilton wouldn't give you as much money as you wanted. But as I've always said, he hasn't told me that when it comes to budgets. So I completely disagree with that assessment of how I handle my department heads.
Mr. Rilling.
I stand by my statement. There are certain department heads, not all, there are certain department heads that act with total autonomy and have no control over their activities whatsoever. I've been a police chief for 17 years. I've worked with them. I know who works. I know who doesn't work. I know who needs to be reined in, and I know how to do it. Again, I had only been to 3 staff meetings of little substance during the last 7 years that I was on the department and worked under the Moccia administration. That has to change. Department heads need to be held accountable. Department heads need to be held accountable to the public they serve. And there, as I said, there are department heads that completely work with autonomy. There are very, very good department heads in the city of Norwalk, but there are others who just seem to do whatever they want with no control over them. And I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
Mr. Moccia, rebuttal.
Yeah, you're telling everybody a lot of things they don't know. It's not true. I'll say it again. It's not true. And if you sat there for 7 years, even as a citizen of this city, and said again, there's not enough meetings, things aren't going wrong, your department heads aren't performing, Mayor, I'm a good loyal employee, I want to clue you in. Never once, and I'll say it again, there were far more meetings than 3 meetings, maybe those are the only ones he made.
There are several questions about 95-7